Hey everyone, welcome back. So today I wanted to do a quick weekly review and plan with me kind of all at the same time. Now, I did set a few things up in advance because it would have been an incredibly long video otherwise, and I didn't want to put you through all of that. But let me kind of show you what we're working with here. So this probably looks familiar to many of you if you've watched any of my weekly review videos before. These are something that I've taken out of my review inserts that I sell on my shop. This is a slightly different version because I've adjusted them to include things that are specific to me. And you'll probably hear Emma in the background. She's very barky today for some reason. I think a lot of people are outside doing yard work and things, and so she feels the need to let me know there are people outside. So I have this looks familiar. We'll be working with the weekly review today. The other thing that I'm finally starting to kind of solidify a little bit is my business review routines. So that's what this is. Obviously I've already found one thing that I need to add to it. So I'll be going through these in a different video a little more thoroughly in the future. All right, so let's start with this. This is my Erin Condren monthly. Deluxe monthly. So we are in the month of May, just kind of as a quick reminder. This is the dashboard setup. I punched a random piece of paper with the to-do list on it, stuck it in here. These were my goals for the month. Actually, have I hit my 1, 2, 3. So this will be my 4th video. So I've almost hit this goal here. And I've actually got all of my content planned. So I just have a couple more things. I'm probably not going to get the Q3 inserts designed, but that'll probably happen shortly into June. So this is my month. If you've watched a previous video, and this may be hard to tell, I have a red mild liner box that's for video, orange is for Etsy, and I've been checking things off kind of as I do them. I did add a few non-YouTube / Etsy related things, mainly when it really affected what time I would have on a day, or energy for that matter. Yeah, so this is still accurate, just making sure nothing had changed. So this was last week. So what I've been doing with the pages, the notes pages that come after, let me zoom in a little bit here. So what I've been doing is playing with different layouts. So the last 2 weeks I kind of did a hybrid Hobonichi sort of a layout, which ironically it was actually exactly the width of a Hobonichi page when you divide it in half, just in case anybody's curious. So in the middle section here next to the coil I had kind of to-do stuff, and then on the outside I had days of the week. This was really busy. Like, I think it might be the pattern of the washi among other things, but it was kind of a little too much for my eyeballs, if that makes any sense. So what I did for this upcoming week, because I started this kind of into like a couple weeks into the month, so I still had 2 pages left, so I thought, why not, just for kicks, actually mock up a normal like hourly weekly layout. So what I actually did, this is my 2020-2021 planner thing, is I just kind of stacked them like this and kind of figured out where the lines should go, and then I drew them in with pencil. So this is kind of giving me a chance to play a little bit with how I want to set things up somewhat. Obviously, I don't think the lines exactly line up this direction, but it worked for what I needed. So pretty much all this is in pencil. Judging by how much I had to erase, it's a good thing I put it in pencil. But so I wanted to start first with, well, actually let's jump back here. The syncing the monthly calendar is usually the first thing that I do, and this should already be fairly synced because obviously we're at the end of the month. I did go through and write stuff in for June. I have all of my stuff scheduled, and this was July. I did look ahead to July. because that's when this next one starts. Now, I have everything in here still on sticky notes. We all know how tenuous things are right now as far as things go with COVID-19 and whatever, so I'm waiting till we get much closer to July to actually write anything down. But I have gone ahead and synced all of that up. The only thing I don't think I have in here, but I think is in here, that I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen. So I have a hair appointment scheduled for the 9th. Pardon me while I grab my sticky notes because they're on my desk behind me. So I am going to write this down in here also. I had originally intended to keep my content stuff separate from my other like life stuff. Obviously, it's going to kind of keep work separated because I think I'm going to do mostly my work stuff in my daily duo that I have. But I think I'm going to combine content calendar stuff with my weekly stuff, my normal like life stuff. Because what I'm finding is that I don't really have a reference in here for what I have going on elsewhere, so it makes it a little more difficult to schedule filming and editing times because I don't have a good idea of what's going on. So this worked out well for laying everything out as far as when I'm going to post stuff, but when it comes to actually scheduling filming and editing, it's a little less ideal, I guess is the best way to put it. So, but I am pretty sure that this is not going to happen because for whatever reason in California, they think that hair salons are highly dangerous, even though their states don't agree. And so they're going to be one of the last things to open. So unless we can get some sort of an accelerated phase 2 something going on down here in San Diego, my first hair appointment will probably not be until July, unless I get desperate because I am headed to Texas. I just found out today, hooray, that they lifted the self-quarantine regulations for the state of Texas. So I might actually look into getting a hair appointment back there because I desperately need it. So anyway, so monthly calendar is fairly synced. Appointments and essential tasks to weekly schedule. So that was what I was going to start working on. So a lot of these stickers were from the Cocoa Daisy kit. Been trying to use these up. This was May's. I did set these aside because they had full and half boxes. And I have several different ones. Some of these came from the planner add-on kit, the classified planner kit. That one's classified. There's a main planner kit set. These were the script stickers I used last week. I was getting the pocket memory keeping kit as well for a period of time, so that's what those were from. Those are planner add-ons. So these are ones that I've already kind of used, and I don't really need to use them anymore. These are from the classic stickers. Actually, I think this is from the main planner kit also. And then I've discovered that their the Hobonichi, the Weeks stickers actually fit really well in here as well. So these are kind of what I have been working with. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in here and use them. Now, if you are curious, pull this down. I am starting to play with keeping track of the number of weeks left in the quarter. So I do have a 5 up here because that is the number of weeks left in quarter 2. I'm hoping that will help me focus a little bit on, what my quarterly goals are and making sure that I'm focusing on them and getting them accomplished. And the other thing too, I know I've never been much of a sticker planner. Yeah. I'm not much of a sticker person normally. However, as I cleaned out my craft room a couple weeks ago, I realized just how many stickers I have. And so I thought it would be good to go ahead and try and start using them up. Because otherwise they just kind of are going to waste. So I'll show you kind of the different places that I've been using them so that you can see kind of what I'm doing. I am trying to limit the number of stickers that I continue to purchase. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with Cocoa Daisy. I do absolutely adore their July kit though, so I'm not going to put a hold on that at the moment. I might in the future. So the nice thing about using pencil on here is that I don't have to white stuff out. I could actually just erase it if I wanted. But I'll just kind of move that over there. So you can tell that when I drew the lines out, I didn't get them all exactly even across, and that's fine. I am okay with that. All right, so on Saturday I have signed up for Momentum Day. That's with Productive Flourishing. They're doing like a quarterly goal setting. Actually, it's a whole day, a whole Zoom thing. They have a section of stuff that's like a workshop. There's a section of stuff that's like hands-on. So I'm actually looking forward to participating in that because I feel like I need to get refocused. Hence the reason I'm doing the goal setting videos. So the rest of these I'm just going to write in. All right, so I am going to leave this post-it note here. I will probably end up going to church at the 11 online service. I tried the 9 a.m. service. It wasn't exactly my cup of tea. Actually, you know what? I think I will go ahead and just write that in, just so I know. But what I've been doing is moving this post-it note around. But I think I now have it figured out when everything is. So I do have a media interview at some point this week. I don't know when yet. That's still being scheduled. So I will leave this flag here just as a reminder that that's going on. So anyway, today is actually Memorial Day. I've been procrastinating on getting stuff filmed. I was originally going to film that this video this weekend, but you know, I needed some vacation time, so I took off last Thursday and Friday. All right, so this is kind of the setup for the week right now. I probably will go back and play with adding in like dinners and lunches. And of course, these NAA calls are based on the East Coast, so their regard for Pacific time sometimes is lacking, which is why I have them scheduled kind of through lunch. So I'll figure that out on those days. But all right, so that's my weekly overview. And then we'll kind of get into my daily planner here. So what I did to set up is I filled out wellness, work, and home. And what I have been doing is wellness, work, and home like this. However, I feel like I don't really need help focusing on work, but I do need help focusing on home stuff. So these are kind of the standard things that show up under wellness. This one. So a little bit of a tangent, but I am kind of in a bit of a house cleaning existential crisis. I am trying to figure out exactly kind of what I want to do because I feel like what I'm doing right now isn't exactly working. So this is, I think I've shown this to you before. This is kind of my setup template for my daily stuff. I have wellness, I have the things that I do for work that I figure out each day. And then for home, I have a weekly task, and then every single day to clean up the kitchen and a 5-minute pickup, and then other things that need to be done. So how I started, how I've started recently, I guess. This was kind of loosely based off of Clean Mama, her website and her cleaning routine. So Mondays are bathrooms, Tuesdays, and these might be shuffled around from what she has. Tuesday dust, Wednesday laundry, Thursday mop floors, Friday vacuum, Saturday change sheets and towels. Otherwise, I was kind of looking at kind of combining that a little bit with Fly Lady and trying to do more cleaning on one day and less on others, because I find that there's usually 1 or 2 days a week where I'm like, yes, let's clean the house, and then the rest of the time I'm like, meh. So I was looking at, you know, cleaning the toilet on Monday, Tuesday dust mop, around the house because, oh, the dogs are shedding right now. It's horrible. Wednesday, doing a weekly home blessing. And this would be toilet / like countertops and stuff like that. Dust mopping again on Friday. Saturday, changing sheets and towels, and then starting over again. So that was kind of the other thing I was looking at. And then kind of the weekly home blessing layout, if you're not familiar with Fly Lady, is about 10 minutes each. Dust, vacuum, mop, clean mirrors and counters, empty trash and recycling, purge paper, or magazines. I think she refers to magazines. However, I recently bought this book because I am that person who seems to collect housekeeping books because I'm strange like that. But if you have watched any of my videos, this probably doesn't surprise you. Anyway, so I am, the only chapters I've really read. Beginning part here where it talks about easing into a routine, talking about her secret life, which is kind of her background for why she wrote it, and then neatening. The rest of this is, sorry, my allergies. The rest of this is more reference stuff where you're like, I need to know how to clean lampshades. And so you can go and look it up in the back. Like, this is a very thorough book on like how to clean pretty much everything. But it also covers things like, which I thought was really interesting. They have a section she calls Understanding Your Castle. So it's things about defending your home and, you know, consulting your lawyer, Fourth Amendment protections against government, zoning laws, computers and privacy, telemarketing. Like, this book is very thorough. Images and recordings, music, pets, beds and bedding, fire, electrical safety. So it's very thorough. Anyway, back to what I was doing. So I was reading through Easing into Routine, and she referenced something from a long time ago, which maybe many of you have heard, maybe not. They used to have days of the week where they did certain things. So then I was looking at being a little more general about maybe doing laundry and stuff. Wednesday is a good day because I usually, even when I'm going into the office, I'm still working from home on Wednesdays. So still doing laundry on Wednesday, cleaning on Saturday perhaps, like more of a thorough clean. If I want to do any baking, doing that on Friday. Thursday doing odd jobs, so that could be anything from financial stuff to whatever. Doing a mini cleaning on Wednesday, which I think would be more kind of like that weekly home blessing where it's just kind of keeping things up. And then trying to figure out if I still want to grocery shop. I've been doing it on Sundays. Sometimes that feels kind of last minute. I don't know. Anyway, like I said, I'm in a bit of a cleaning routine existential crisis right now. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I just feel like sometimes how you need to change things up so that you'll actually do it. Because when things get too routine, sometimes it doesn't appeal to me anymore. So I feel like I need to change something up. So that being said, I am not sure what I'm going to put in this home section right now, other than cleaning the kitchen in a quick 5-minute pickup. Because for me, those are two like things that for sure have to be done every single day. And those actually are things that I kind of got more from A Slob Comes Clean. I don't know if you've heard of that book and or website. So I've followed a lot of things here and there. All right, sorry. So this is like, I don't know, 30 minutes later. I had a phone call and now I've lost track of where I was, but I think at this point I'm just filling this in. So maybe what I'll do is copy this through to all the days and then I'll come back. All right, so what I've done is I've gone back through and I've written in all of my routine sorts of things. Evidently I forgot what I was doing because I wrote it in the wrong spot here, but that's okay. So I have that. I mentioned about stickers I'm using up. I actually went back when I was looking through something and found old Sweet Kawaii design stickers that were kind of like fun days of the month. So I went back and put them in. They're actually, I think if I remember correctly, from March 2016. So it's just kind of one of those things. I'm like, well, as long as I have them, I'll use it before I forget. Let's see, if I go back a couple weeks ago, I was on week 3. I took last week off, so I am now on week 4. So I will fill in my exercise here. So these little pink stickers are also Sweet Kawaii design ones that from forever ago. I believe these are after she redid her paper stock though, so not as long ago as some of the other stickers I have. So exercise is written in. Next I want to make sure that I have, should probably just take these out, but you know. Alright, just for the ease of not having to find where I am starting every single time, let me take these out. So I'm just writing in some of the things I have to do each day. So here, tomorrow is payroll day, for better or worse. Good for the employees, and I guess for me because I get paid, but it's not my favorite thing to do. So usually I have 3 tasks that are associated with that. Legislative committee there, marketing communications committee there, Bible study. The only other thing is, and lest anybody think that I am breaking rules, the 5th Saturday Fusion Party is going to be virtual. I'm not sure what format yet. Sounds like it might be a combination of Twitch and Zoom, but we shall see what they work out. For those of you who don't know, I actually dance fusion, which, depending on who you ask, is different things, but I believe, as far as I remember, it originally ended up as a combination between tango, West Coast swing, and blues. I think that was the original combination. At this point in time, it's just dancing to the music that's played, which has a variety of influences, and everybody brings what they know to the dance, and you just create something. So it's actually quite a bit of fun. All right, so that is the basic structure of my week. Today is here. Actually, I can check a few things off. I'm filming the weekly review right now. So this is tomorrow. Don't have too much going on aside from doing payroll tomorrow, which is good because that usually takes me most of the day. Wednesday, I have a legislative committee call and Bible study. Thursday, I have an NAA marketing communications committee call. Let's see, Friday, just a normal work day. Saturday is momentum day with the productive flourishing people. Fusion party virtually at some point that evening. Sunday, church. So that's kind of how my week is lining up to look. So those are my major tasks. Although I do want to go back in and add Wednesday. Gel pen over whiteout is not always the best thing. Saturday. So I'm posting videos on those 2 days. All right. Next up on my weekly review, make a list of what has my attention. Usually that's a brain dump. I don't know. I usually don't do those on camera. I don't really have any loose papers floating around here. I'll empty my work to-do box tomorrow as a part of workday startup, and I'll process that stuff then. So I've actually played with a new startup routine also for the office. So this is, and you probably won't be able to see that, so I'll read it to you. So my workday startup, so I do this at the beginning of my workday, is reviews my schedule and the top 3 things I've assigned. I usually do that the night before. I process my email, and in case you're curious, I actually made a list of kind of how I do that. I delete the trash, so I run through everything in my inbox and delete everything that I'm like, this is trash, I don't need it. And then I run through and look for any invoices that I need to download, and then I archive the email. And then I look through for any FYIs or CCs things that I get CC'd on because of a group that I'm in or whatever. I glance at them, see if I need any of the information. If I don't, I archive those. From there, I answer and process what's remaining. Sometimes I'll do that then, sometimes I'll schedule that out to do later. After that, I process other inboxes. So at home here, that's just the hanging file folder that I have labeled as inbox, where I check incoming mail and stuff to deal with. And then I process my task manager, which is Notion. That's what I'm using right now. And just in case you're curious, at the end of the day, process email, same process. Processing notes that are in my planner, process my other inboxes, process my task manager, which is currently Notion, review my schedule for the next day, and then list the top 3 for tomorrow. So that's kind of what my routines are when I start my day and end my day. And I'm trying to get better about starting those at a specific time also. All right, so that being said, I'll clean out my inboxes and email folders and stuff at that time. I really should be doing it for my personal stuff, but I've been falling behind on that, and my personal inbox is getting a little out of control. So I probably actually need to schedule time to do that. All right, so usually about this time, I'm reviewing my values, goals, roles, and prioritizing questions. And I realize that part of what is missing from this planner system is that information. So I will probably, well, you know what, I take that back. Because you know where I have that? I still can access it. I have it here in Notion. So I did tell you that I will be doing a more in-depth walkthrough, but I do have a way to get to all of this quickly. So I have a yearly dashboard, which is kind of where I keep my information. So these are all my annual goals, and I believe this should be for 2020. It occurs to me that I can actually check off, I paid off my student loan this last month. So that is actually completed. And so now I'm just snowballing anything that I was putting towards that into savings. Some of it's going towards the potential for needing a new car at some point in the future, and some of it's just going flat out into savings. So anything else, let me look and see, annual goal wise. Nothing that sparks anything necessarily. I will also go through this at a certain point. I'll just jump straight to projects. So I have a whole list of projects. Let's see if I get this to focus. There we go, that probably works. What I have done out of all the projects I've working on, if you'll notice, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 projects that I have checked as flagged, so that these are the ones that, and you'll see through the magic of relational databases, anytime there is an associated project, subproject, task, whatever to these, then they automatically will have a box that is checked on their row. So that way I know these are part of the things that I'm focusing on currently. So that is kind of how I'm managing this in Notion. And again, I will go through into a more in-depth review of how all of that is working. But essentially right now, I've been working on the Cambridge marketing website, focusing on good communication with owners and residents, preparing for interview requests, which are still coming, focusing on workout consistency, aside from the week I skipped last week, and then finalizing series schedules and list for YouTube, which actually I have completed that, so I can take that off. And I still actually need to do a monthly review. So when I do that, I will update those projects and pick the new ones for next month. But this is a weekly review, so we won't get into that. Determining important projects and tasks for the week. Payroll is a big one that I need to focus on. The other thing I have here is a tasks section. And I have many, many different ways that I can look at this. All right, so I think probably what I'm going to do is leave this for now, because tomorrow I know my focus is payroll, and then I will go through and pick kind of what my focus is for the following week. I do have this set up where I can look at things by week. So I have scheduled out a whole bunch of weekly agendas. This is week 22. which may seem kind of strange that I have kind of duplicate information, but this just relates days and tasks together. So that's all the projects. So essentially the one thing that I have assigned to this week is to write checks back to properties because of how our new accounting system is working. I can't just unfortunately apply a credit to something. I have to write a check back. So that actually, I think I will put here on Thursday. And that also reminds me that I need to write the office rent check. And I need to email our residents to remind them about accommodation requests that we need to get theirs for June if they need one. So those are kind of the big things that have popped into mind that I need to do before the end of the month. That kind of also, most of them have something to do with my outstanding projects. Review last week and migrate unfinished tasks. The reason I do that after is because I like to fill in the important things, because usually if I didn't do something last week, it's probably because it wasn't super important. I hate to say that, but that's kind of how I end up thinking about it, because if it was really important, I probably would have gotten it done. So these I actually got done. I just didn't get a chance to do it. Or didn't get a chance to check it off. Okay, so back to this. So I've already added important tasks. Most of them were already in my task manager. I just moved them into this planner. I am going to do a video on kind of how I use the digital and the analog together and what my workflow is between the two of them. This is already going to be a super long video, so I don't want to get into it here, but I have kind of a holding place digitally, and then this is what I work on. It has a little bit to do with an answer I gave to someone who had asked on someone else's channel and said, why do you track weather on your in your planner? You can get that anywhere. And it was like, because I want all my information in one place. And if I go here, I don't have the distraction of my phone. I can't tell you how many times I pick up my phone to do something specific and I get distracted by some sort of a notification. And like 20 minutes later, it's like, what was I doing? There was something I was going to do. That doesn't happen with this. I look at the day and I go, oh, okay, this is the next thing I need to do. It just keeps me very focused. And that's why I like being on the paper side of things on the day-to-day basis. Notion is the same way because it's so customizable. I get into it, I'm like, oh, it would be cool to see it this way. And the next thing I know, I'm busy tweaking the system instead of using it. So that's why I don't work specifically out of that system as much as possible, because I get in and I start playing with it. All right, I don't really have any waiting fors necessarily. Determine/schedule meals and meal prep for the week. Part of that has to do with this. I've actually gone back to Freshly. I'm tired of cooking. I don't really want to eat out. Freshly is fairly healthy. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. It's just something that my husband and I used previously, and it's easy, and I know what their meals are, and I like them. So I've started doing 6 meals a week, so that usually takes care of lunch and or dinner, and then what I've just started doing is buying salad kits. So one meal I'll have salad, the other meal I'll have one of these meals here. So that works out well. Every once in a while I get the hair, I cook, and it's fine, and then I have, you know, a couple of lunches or something other than salad for lunch and or dinner. So that's kind of how that is working. So I just have this with a checkbox next to it because that's when I expect to get my delivery. So that being said, I also did all of my shopping on Friday. I think it was Friday. No, maybe it was Thursday of last week. Yeah, I went grocery shopping last week. So I try and grocery shop as much as possible for 2 weeks at a time so I don't have to go. So this is my off week. Yay! I'm not the biggest fan of wearing masks, so I just avoid going out in public so I don't have to deal with it. Mostly because I have allergies and find it hard enough to breathe as it is without stuff covering my mouth and nose. So anyway. And then the other thing is log business income and expense. That I will do off camera because that will require me getting in. And actually I'm going to cross that off of here because that's actually on my business section. So kind of what my business routines look like right now for weekly stuff, because this kind of goes along, is checking the monthly calendar for things that may reduce available time to work on stuff this week. So that's part of the reason why I want to combine this and my like normal personal calendar, is because I need a quick way to see, oh hey, I have something going on all day this Saturday, so I'm not going to be able to plan to film that day. So I just need a quick way to reference all of that, which is kind of the point of having a calendar anyway. So then I have a similar thing, review last week. Actually, that's already done, and update unfinished tasks. So again, I would be keeping that in here because I actually have a view of all of my tasks for my channel. So this is just, or I would say, it should say Etsy shop, because I actually have my entire, where is it? Editorial calendar laid out here. So this is everything through the end of the year and a little bit into next. So this is kind of where I'm keeping track of everything when it's being filmed, when it's being edited, when it's scheduled. I have calendar views of all of it, so I can kind of flip back quickly and see, make sure things are scheduled out appropriately so I have time to edit if something happens and interferes. So that's pretty much tracked on Notion. And again, I'll go into that in a lot more detail. I think, let me look, because I have it in here, just in case you're like, but when? It's going to start in the middle of July. July 15th-ish is when I'm going to start the overview, and then I'll do each of the different views, including month, week, and day. And I think, do I have one more? Yep, managing tasks, managing projects, and knowledge hub. So it's actually going to go into, I think, September, actually October. So pretty much the last 3 weeks, middle two to the last 3 weeks of each month are going to be Notion videos. The first one will still be a planner update, but you'll see, you'll have like a solid 3 months of content on that starting middle of July. Because that's when it ties in well with everything else that I'm doing. So other things that I usually do weekly is I respond to any unreturned messages. I do try and keep up with these, especially like Instagram, Etsy, and YouTube, all the comments and direct messages. I try and keep up with those actually daily, but that just gives me a chance to run back through and make sure I didn't miss anything. I don't have a waiting for list right now. Business income, I mentioned, and expenses, I'll do that elsewhere. I don't have any custom requests right now. Social media posts I've been kind of bad about, other than just trying to get YouTube under control. I think once I kind of get into a rhythm with it, since it is so new that I'm trying to post twice a week now instead of like twice a month, I think once I get into a rhythm with that, I'll probably be a little bit better about Instagram, which is primarily the other social media account that I post on. So just keep an eye out there. If you follow me there already, you probably know that you don't hear from me from 2 weeks, and then I like post 5 or 6 times in a row very rapidly. And so it's pretty much just as I have time, which is maybe not ideal, but that's just kind of the best way that it works. So it seems like that's a lot as far as the weekly routine goes. I think it takes a lot longer when I talk about it. And I've had other people mention how long this takes, and I also remind people that I don't generally sit down and do this all at once. So normally I start feeling like I want to play in a planner, maybe like Thursday or Friday. So I'll sit down in my daily and just start laying stickers down. And then, you know, maybe I'll come in and add some of my appointments and stuff. And then I'll come back usually on Saturday and I'll write in kind of all the wellness things. Same thing with this. It's just kind of like, oh, I feel like laying something out, doing something different. So I'll lay this out. I actually did both of these weeks at the same time. So pretty much last week, all I had to do was sit down and write stuff in. Obviously, I also didn't have much going on, so that helped as well. I think I forgot to check those off. So anyway, that's kind of how my weekly review goes. And yeah, so again, Normally when I show these, I'm in like a ring-bound planner, so I wanted to show that this process is kind of universal. Like it doesn't matter what planner you're in or what you're using. It's all about the process and the tasks that you need to do in order to make sure you're set up and ready to go for the next week. And you know, sometimes I even do this, like today's Monday. Sometimes I'll even do it on Monday morning if I kind of get behind. That's why I usually will do a little bit here, a little bit there as far as setup goes, and then I can sit down and do the major planning when I do a weekly review for the office. I try and do those Friday, but sometimes time gets away from me, and so I end up doing them on a Monday morning. Just to kind of recap where I am. That will especially be the case this next week because I did not work Thursday or Friday of last week, and I actually peeked in my inbox because I was looking for something specific, and I have over 100 email messages, which may not seem like a lot to some people, but I usually don't let myself get above 30. I start to get twitchy, and at least for my office email. So that will probably take me most of the morning to clear out and kind of get caught up on. So anyway, I will be still uploading, just as a reminder, on Saturdays, my goal setting series. The intro went up this past week, so if you have not watched it yet, very short video. I am trying to keep the goal setting videos a little bit shorter. I think it's 5 minutes or less. So you can go check and see kind of what it's going to be all about. If you plan on jumping in on that series, make sure you watch it because I give you guys just a little bit of homework. It should take just a couple seconds, provided you know where your goals are. That would be the question. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.